Imagine opening an old road atlas, the kind with yellowed pages and tiny blue rivers. You trace a highway through rural Pennsylvania, small towns, gas stations, coal country, and then you see it, a city, marked clearly, labeled Centralia. But if you open a modern map, it's gone. No roads, no neighborhoods, no population, just empty space. So what happened? How does a town exist for over a century and then slowly disappear from the map? Was it abandoned, destroyed, or deliberately erased? The city that once existed, Centralia, Pennsylvania, was founded in the mid-1800s, right in the heart of America's coal region. At its peak, it wasn't huge, but it was alive. Over 2,500 people lived there in the late 1800s. Families, miners, shop owners, children walking to school. The town had everything you'd expect. Churches, a post office, bars, grocery stores. Railroads ran through it, carrying coal across the country. The economy was built on anthracite coal, and for decades, Centralia thrived. On maps, it looked permanent, just another American town, the kind that would be there forever. And then something changed. The first sign something was wrong. The year was 1962, a routine cleanup. Local officials decided to burn trash in a landfill. Nothing unusual, except the landfill sat on top of old coal mines, deep underground, connected tunnels stretching for miles. The fire didn't go out. Instead, it spread down into the mines, and it kept burning. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months, and then years. At first, it didn't seem catastrophic. People kept living there. Maps didn't change. The town still existed. But underground, a fire was growing. The map trail. If you compare maps from the 1950s, Centralia is normal, clearly labeled. Roads branching out, rail lines connecting it to nearby towns. By the 1970s, things start to shift. The town is still there, but reports begin to surface. Gas seeping from the ground, unusual heat, smoke rising from cracks in the earth. Government agencies took notice. The U.S. Bureau of Mines investigated. So did the state of Pennsylvania. They tried to contain the fire. They failed. By the 1980s, maps still showed Centralia. But something strange was happening in reality. The town was becoming unlivable. In 1981, a 12-year-old boy nearly died. The ground beneath him suddenly opened. A sinkhole. Hot gases pouring out. That moment changed everything. Soon after, the federal government stepped in, not to fix the fire, but to move the people. In 1984, Congress approved a relocation program. Millions of dollars to buy out residents. And slowly, people left. As families moved away, maps began to change. Some versions still showed Centralia. Others started to fade it. Roads disappeared. Labels vanished. By the 1990s, the town was barely marked at all. And then came the most definitive act. In 2002, the U.S. Postal Service revoked Centralia's zip code. Officially, it no longer existed as a functioning town. What happened to the people? This wasn't a sudden evacuation. It was slow, painfully slow. Some residents accepted the buyouts. They moved to nearby towns, started over, but others refused. This was their home. Their families had lived there for generations. Churches held memories. Streets held stories. You can't just erase that. Even as the ground heated up, even as smoke rose from backyards, even as roads cracked from underground fire, some people stayed. At its peak decline, fewer than 100 residents remained. Today, less than a handful. The government used eminent domain to take control of the land. Homes were demolished, buildings removed. Nature began to reclaim everything. Where neighborhoods once stood, there are now empty fields. And trees, lots of trees. So, was it erased? Not in the way you might think. There was no secret order, no conspiracy to hide it from history. Centralia wasn't erased overnight. It was erased slowly, practically, administratively. As people left, there was less reason to keep it on maps. No population, no services, no functioning town. From a cartographer's perspective, it simply stopped being relevant. But here's the unsettling part. The fire is still burning, underground, more than 60 years later. Estimates suggest it could burn for another 100, maybe 200 years. That means the land itself is still unstable, still dangerous, still alive in a way. What remains today? If you visit Centralia now, you won't find a ghost town frozen in time. You'll find almost nothing. A few roads, some abandoned cemeteries, occasional smoke drifting from the ground. There used to be a highway, Route 61. It became so damaged from the underground heat that it was abandoned, cracked, warped, eventually covered over. For a while, it became known as Graffiti Highway, a strange, colorful scar across a dying town. Even that is now buried, covered up, as if to erase the last visible reminder. Modern digital maps? Some don't show Centralia at all. Others label it as a historical location, a footnote, a place that used to be. The bigger question: Centralia wasn't wiped out by war or hidden by a secret government project. It disappeared because it became uninhabitable. And once people left, the map followed. But it raises a deeper question. How many places like this exist? Not cities destroyed dramatically, but towns that quietly fade away, removed not by force, but by time, policy, and practicality. Centralia proves something unsettling. A place doesn't need to be destroyed to disappear. It just needs to be forgotten. And once it's gone from the map, for most people, it might as well have never existed at all.